All right, so that was a high incline dumbbell shoulder press. High incline being, for me, one notch down than your regular shoulder press angle on the bench. I prefer the slightly lower angle to a regular shoulder press, just because for most people, myself included, overhead range is an important thing to address when picking an exercise. My overhead range isn't terrible, but it's also not great. So I'd rather be working in a zone, especially when going heavy, in a very comfortable range. So for me, somewhere around about here on a bench, if I lie back, is going to match this angle. So it means I can still go heavy, I can still push it, and I'm not going to have any issues being placed on my shoulders. I also personally like this one because it includes a lot of upper chest and front delts, and I can really make this a compound movement. I also like to be able to pull the elbows in a little bit at the bottom rather than keeping them flared, which again just keeps tension on the anterior delt and the upper chest rather than the joint itself when you push it back into its end ranges here. So good one to try out. I always keep this in a push day as an overhead press or a main lift. We're going for the dips, weighted dips. Again, an excellent exercise to include in your program of pushing, as this is going to be a position that you're pressing basically downwards. It's hard to replicate this in any other movement. You can have things like a decline chest press or a cable fly that's going top down. I like the compound variation being the dips that includes a lot of front delt, chest and triceps. So again, we can utilize this exercise to cover a lot of ground. So we'll probably do 1 to 2 sets, one heavy, one back off, and then maybe reps to finish. We'll see. I'll go 3 plates. Added tip with the dips. Same as any movement, pretty much any movement in press, pull, squat, hinge. I would always put a pause at the bottom of each rep. Not only does this get you stronger at the end ranges, it keeps your reps consistent and clean. So again, anytime you're learning an exercise or you're getting really strong and you don't want just to add more weight, adding a pause in the bottom of the range is going to keep that rep safe rather than putting more weight, but it's also going to keep all your reps looking exactly the same. There's none that sort of don't hit that range or they're a little bouncy. The pauses always help. All right, so I'm going to set up a cable chest press machine basically. You can do this in multiple different ways. You can have it more upright and pressing forwards. Just remember that when you set up something where the cable comes further away or the handle comes further away from the cable, the tension will increase. So if I set myself up straight and I push forward, the further this cable goes away from this stack, the harder it's going to get. So by setting this on a lower angle, where I'm best pressing the cable upwards from the ground, give me minimal distance from the cable stack to the cable handle, the weight doesn't change that much across the movement of the rep. So this is how I like to set up my chest press. You can absolutely do the upright version if you want more tension in the shortened position at the front, where the handle comes further away from the cable. There's a ton of different variations of side raises that you can pick, all of which are good and have benefits or downsides. I like this as a regular in my program. For one, it's really easy to just set up and get started and swap between sides. Second, it's a very consistent movement. The main things in consideration for the setup is start the cable from around your knee height. To keep tension on the side of the shoulder, we're going to start our movement from this position. So I want something pulling from this direction, right? So that's not gonna happen if I'm starting the cable from the very bottom. So if I can set this cable up around about my knee height, you can see the first tension is here in the initial movement. If it's a dumbbell, it's going down to the ground, there's not much tension or at all any tension. So if I can start by cable set up on the knee, main things, I want to keep my chest in one position. If I start to pull and I'm turning, or my chest collapses and my traps come up, I've lost the exercise. Use this other hand as a brace to keep your position. Chest up, and don't think pull back. I want to think pull to the side and slightly in front. If you see this cable starting to come closer to you at the back, you're making it easier and you're changing the muscle group that's being used. So again, try to watch this cable. Keep that same position of distance. Come out and slightly forward. Hold the top, slowly back down, across the midline, and then back out. Simple.